Hi everyone, so this is lesson 4, continuing unit 7 on solutions, and we're going to look at solubility curves in this tutorial / lesson. Okay, so our objectives will define solubility, and we will learn how to use table G in our reference tables to help us answer solubility questions. Yippee! Yay, yay, yay! Anyway, all right, so solubility curves using table G. How do we use this? Well, table G will show us the number of grams of a substance or solute that can be dissolved in 100 grams of water. At different temperatures, between 1 degree and 100 degrees Celsius. So each curve represents the maximum amount of a substance that can be dissolved at a given temperature. Remember, that is saturated, okay? The maximum amount. All right. All lines that show an increase in solubility as temperature increases represent solids. The lines for gases slope downward. So let's look at this so we know. So here we see 2, I see 3 sloping downward. So HCl is for a gas, ammonia is a gas, and sulfur dioxide is for a gas because it's sloping downward. So we're going to say those lines are representing gases. So if the intersection of grams of solute, okay, on the y-axis intersects with anything on the temperature end, okay, we're going to look to see where that point falls. So if the point falls on the curve, okay, it's going to be considered saturated. So on the curve, the solution is saturated. Above the curve, okay, so when we plot our point and we see that the point is actually above the curve of the substance that we're looking at, then it's going to be considered supersaturated. And take a guess, okay? If it's below the curve, then it's going to be unsaturated. All right, so continuing on, let's look at some examples. So let's use table G to answer some questions related to solubility. Okay, the first question says, how many grams of sodium chloride will dissolve in 100 grams of water at 90 degrees? Well, remember, this is 100 grams. If I doubled the mass of the water, then I'd have to basically double the amount of solute. Okay, so how many grams? Let's look. We're going to look for the curve here for sodium chloride, which is right here. So it's kind of like almost like a straight line. Okay, and we want to know at 90 degrees. So I go to 90 degrees and I go up to sodium chloride right here. And I see that it's basically on the line. So they want to know, and I extrapolate it over. Okay, it's intersected. And I come over and I would say it's exactly at 40. So we're going to say 40 grams of sodium chloride will dissolve in 100 grams of water at 90 degrees Celsius. Now the next question says, how many grams of KCl will dissolve in 50 grams of water at 30 degrees Celsius? Now we are talking about half the amount of water, so we have to divide it by 2. Okay, so we go to KCl, and we're going to look for that curve, which is right here. Okay, and actually it's a nice straight line there. It's not so much a curve, but here's KCl. And we are going to go to 30 degrees. We're going to bring this line up until we intersect for the KCl, which is right here. Okay, and then we're going to bring it over. And it looks like we're by tens here. Okay, so we're just a little under 40. Okay, we're a little under 40 right there. So we're going to say approximately, actually I would say 35. All right, just to be safe. So we're going to make an estimation. So it's about 35 grams of solute per 100, but we're only talking about 50 grams of water. So we're going to divide this by 2. Okay, and that's how we do this. So we have to base it on how much water we're using. And we're using less water, so this is actually going to be divided by 2. So it's 35 divided by 2, because it's half, okay, half of the original 100 grams. Okay, so we got half the final answer, and that would be about 17.5 grams of KCl. Now it says how many grams of KCl will dissolve in 200 grams. So this is why it's bolded, guys, because this is all based on 100. So now 200 grams is double. So whatever our answer is from the graph, we have to double. All right, so this is going to multiply by 2 when we're finished. So let's go back, and actually we have to look again and just double check. So it's at 30 degrees, same thing as number 2. So it's 35 grams in 100 grams. But in this case, okay, we're talking about 200 grams, so we're going to multiply 35 by 2, and we get 70 grams. Okay, so it'll be 70 grams for that one. Number 4 says name 2 substances on table G that are solids. Now remember what I said before. Anything sloping upward is going to be a solid. So you can mention any of those that have upward slopes, like KNO3 or NaNO3. All right, so potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate. Okay, those are 2. Number 5 says to name 2 substances that are gases. So the downward slopes are the gases. So for instance, we have NH3 is a downward slope, and we also have SO2, which is sulfur dioxide. Okay, so those are 2 examples. All right, so you have a couple questions left, 6, 7, and 8. What I would like you to do is answer those questions on your own and be ready to have them checked for at the beginning of class. Okay, so that's the end of lesson 4. Thanks, guys.